Hello and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us on our road to Berlin. There's 8 teams left, it's the quarter-finals next, and there's plenty to cover, so here are today's topics. Bayern and Schalke, can the Blues finally find a win? Werder's Jekyll and Hyde season continues. And can the underdogs keep it going and make history? Plenty to cover, plenty to talk about, and here to talk about it all with me is none other than Tom Midler. Tom, pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, nice to be here.
Let's have a look at the 4 encounters. Saarbrücken taking on Dusseldorf, Schalke against Bayern Munich, Leverkusen against Berlin, and last but not least, Frankfurt against Bremen. But the one game that really does stand out has to be Schalke against Bayern Munich. I mean, Tom, Schalke without a win in 20 games against the Giants from Munich, and they haven't had too much luck in the goal-scoring department either, have they?
No, that's right. Just 8 goals scored and 55 conceded over that run of 20 games without a win against Bayern. And when you think about that, that is an incredibly long run without getting a win against one of the Bundesliga's top teams, especially for Schalke, who, of course, consider themselves to also be one of the top teams in the Bundesliga. And they have to look all the way back to 2017 just to get a draw against Bayern, and even then it was only a month later that they were beaten 3-0 in the DFB-Pokal. That was the last time the two sides met in the cup.
Well, not just that, they have to go back all the way to 2011 to find the last time they actually beat Bayern Munich. There were plenty of stories surrounding that encounter, and now we're going to have a quick look at exactly how it all unfolded.
The 2011 DFB-Pokal semi-final, Bayern against Schalke, a game that would go down in German football's history and would see the Munich fans go head-to-head with Manuel Neuer. There were whispers surrounding the young Schalke keeper and a possible move to Bayern, and the Blues fans were far from impressed. All eyes were on the two keepers on the day, Kraft and Neuer, positioned at opposite ends of the pitch, yet equally matched in terms of ability. But only one of them would have to fish the ball out of his own net, as Senor Raul would simply be too strong for Kraft. It would remain the only goal of the game on the 2nd of March 2011, the same day Schalke would celebrate their last win to date over Bayern Munich, and the same could be said for Manuel Neuer.
So 2011, the last time Schalke were able to secure a major trophy. Manuel Neuer in goal at the time, and plenty of controversy surrounding him as well. Tom, could history be repeating itself for Schalke?
Yeah, it certainly could. It's an interesting story. Every now and then you get some of these players that appear to follow a similar career path to somebody else. And Nübel, the Schalke goalkeeper, of course, is doing that right now, almost following in the footsteps of Manuel Neuer. No need for introduction, of course, to Neuer's move across from the Royal Blues to Bayern Munich. It took the fans quite a while to warm to him. He did, of course, go on to have a great career at Bayern, which he's still having. Nübel now has announced his intention to join Bayern Munich, and it's not been greeted too well in Gelsenkirchen. That much can clearly be said. He's lost the captaincy at Schalke, and his performances have come in for some criticism since then. And of course, it's definitely one of those things that adds a bit of extra narrative and a bit of extra spice to this DFB-Pokal tie.
Certainly does. So Nübel no longer the captain, the new man in charge on the pitch, at least for Schalke, the Spaniard Omar Mascarell. Let's hear what the new captain had to say.
Omar Mascarell has finally arrived. Always fights. He knows what the club is all about. It's the Schalke mentality. A workhorse in midfield, became Schalke's new captain in the winter and is slowly but surely improving his German. Yes, it's getting better and better. I take lessons 2 to 3 times a week, and I hope that in 2 or 3 months, my German will be great. It's his 2nd year with the Royal Blues, and a new beginning for him, going from part-time back to full-time.
For me, it was a difficult season last season. I came here from Frankfurt, where I play every game. I was an important player there. I came here with try to do the same. Sometimes in football everything changes.
Mascarell and Schalke have turned things around after a tough season.
I think the mentality. The mentality is different. We have now a new staff, a new trainer. When they came, they give us our confidence back with new ideas, with new system, and yeah, every player felt very comfortable with them.
Despite ups and downs in the league, things have been on the rise in the cup. I hope this season we make it to Berlin and get to play in the final.
Zu Berlin und spiel the finale.
Next on the cards is Bayern Munich, and he already knows how to beat them. Backtrack to the final in 2018. It was a special moment in my career. The Spaniard celebrated his first title in Germany with Eintracht Frankfurt. I think people said Frankfurt had no chance to win, but we believed that we could.
Frankfurt, in this moment, wir haben gesagt, okay, wir können.
And they certainly could. Eintracht sensationally won the final 3-1, and 10,000 fans gave them an incredible welcome home.
The
city was amazing and full. It was one big party. A celebration he would like to repeat with Schalke, knowing that even Bayern can be beaten on any given match day. Anything can happen in just one game. We know we have a chance, and we will fight until the very, very end. And in order to do so, Schalke will need a headstrong leader like Omar Mascarell.
So some interesting words there from the new Schalke captain, but let's focus back on Bayern Munich. They're going to be without Robert Lewandowski for a few weeks at least. What could that mean for Bayern Munich? What could that mean for this DFB-Pokal encounter?
Yeah, of course, losing a player like Robert Lewandowski is a massive blow for Hansi Flick and his side. Lewandowski, 4 times the top scorer in the DFB-Pokal. In fact, the top scorer in the last 3 DFB-Pokal competitions. So it's certainly not a player that's easy to replace. They've got Müller, they've got Gnabry as well, who's on a great patch of form right now. But in terms of a player of that kind of stature, Lewandowski, of course, still regarded as one of the world's best. And he's scoring goals in great form, whether it's in the DFB-Pokal, the Bundesliga or the Champions League. So it certainly does open a little door of possibility for Schalke. They'll be buoyed by that news.
So Robert Lewandowski, a man who knows all about the DFB-Pokal. Next up, 2 teams who know all about the competition as well. Tom, the 6th meeting between Eintracht Frankfurt and Werder Bremen. 2 teams with very similar stories when we look at a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde season in the German top flight and then the DFB-Pokal.
Yeah, very much so. Werder Bremen especially struggling down near the relegation places in the Bundesliga this season, really having a tough time of it of late, and that might well be the course of the rest of the season for them. So they're looking to the Cup to pick themselves up. And 11 wins in the DFB-Pokal, 11 cup wins between the 2 sides, so massive cup histories, and both teams will be looking to use this tie to kind of turn their season around if they can.
Definitely. Do you think perhaps the turning point for Werder Bremen was that massive win against Borussia Dortmund? I mean, it's the 2nd year running. They've kicked them out of the competition. Fantastic for them. Can they build on that? Is that something to hold on to for them?
They'll certainly be hoping so, yeah. They sailed through the first couple of rounds, lots of goals in the games against Delmenhorst and against Heidenheim too, but then the real test of their credentials, of course, came against Dortmund. And they came through that game, and in some fashion as well. You know, Dortmund, of course, galvanised by Haaland. He did score a goal on the day, but it wasn't enough. Bittencourt getting the goal for Werder Bremen, the standout goal at least, with that half volley from outside the area against his former employers, no less. And Bremen went through, and you could see what that meant to Florian Kohfeldt and his players at the final whistle. Some real scenes of emotion and celebration when they secured that victory.
Well, the last time they celebrated was 2009 when it comes to lifting the title. The likes of Diego and Mesut Özil amongst their ranks then, some big names. Do you think they could perhaps repeat that feat? Is this the year they could perhaps do it, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. They're looking really good at the moment. We mentioned, of course, that game against Dortmund. That will have given them so much self-belief. And it's almost easier in a way. Sometimes when you're really struggling in the league, you look to the Cup for that source of inspiration, and it becomes a bigger and bigger game for the players as the season goes on. So they'll certainly be feeling good about this one and hoping to use the cup as their inspiration this year.
Well, we said it was a Jekyll and Hyde season for Werder Bremen. It's almost the same story for Eintracht Frankfurt, perhaps not struggling quite as much when it comes to the Bundesliga, doing equally as well when it comes to the DFB-Pokal. Very similar stories there.
Yeah, it's not quite as severe in the case of Eintracht Frankfurt, but they're still performing well below their expectations as far as the Bundesliga is concerned. Adi Hütter and his side will have expected a lot more come the start of the season, despite some key departures. But they've been going well, of course, in the DFB Pokal as well. That's why they're here in these later rounds, and they'll be looking at this tie as a great chance to get another trophy in their cabinet. Only 2 years ago, of course, they lifted the DFB Pokal, so they know what it takes to do that, and they'll be one of the favourites for sure.
Certainly will be. One team who might not be the favourite, more like the underdog. The only underdog still left in the competition is Saarbrücken. There were a few heroes to get them through to the quarter-finals. We had a chance to talk to two of them.
Brothers in arms, reloaded in Saarland. It was an incredible moment for me. It's a moment you simply can't describe. It was amazing when the whole stadium erupted. FC Saarbrücken are enjoying a fairy tale cup journey. It's simply fantastic. We met up with last round's heroes at the World Heritage Site, Völklinger Hütte, where the traditions of hard work and local culture blend into one. It's easy to identify with it. The people here live and breathe football and yearn for professional football, and it's an honor to be part of that story and help put Saarland back on the football map.
In Fußball Deutschland auch ein bisschen wieder bekannt machen können.
A founding Bundesliga member currently in the 4th division with dreams of success built on coal and steel. Thanks to saves from Daniel Bartz, they saw off Regensburg and KSC before Christopher Schorch scored against his old club Cologne to take down the top-tier side next. All thanks to the hard-working approach of the underdog. You want to give everything for your teammates and do the dirty work as well. I love going into challenges. I think we are an uncomfortable team to play against because we constantly push each other. Upsets require heroes, and FCS's shot-stopper Daniel Batz is one with a strong mind. His moment came in the penalty shootout against KSC. A tired mind can mean a tired body. That's why it can be difficult, especially in a cup game where the slightest mistake can make all the difference. So you could say it's hard work for the mind as well. The next big moment, the penalty to secure a place in the quarter-final. Christopher Schorch has already made cup history with his goal. On Tuesday, everyone will give absolutely everything to go above and beyond and try to make more history. Another team from the Saarland area now stand in their way, with Fortuna Dusseldorf next on the menu for a hungry Saarbrücken side. It should be another walk in the park. Just kidding, of course. I think we'll be hard to beat, just like before. We will defend our goal with everything we've got. Dusseldorf have to win. We can win and want to win. It's going to be a nail-biter on Tuesday night. The emotional rollercoaster continues for FC Saarbrücken.
So what a fantastic story, Tom. Saarbrücken have to be some of the neutrals' favourites going into this next round of the competition, especially with a new manager as well. They are the underdogs. It's a bit of a David against Goliath against Dusseldorf. Dusseldorf quite clearly the bigger team, but they too with a new man in charge and at the helm.
Yeah, that's right. Dusseldorf just employed Uwe Rösler as their manager and beat Kaiserslautern in the last round too, who are former employers of Uwe Rösler. He had some legendary times, some legendary moments with Kaiserslautern, so it was somehow fitting for him to come in at Dusseldorf and win 5-2 there against his ex-club. But Saarbrücken, you know, everybody loves an underdog story, of course. They haven't had the most high-profile run to the quarterfinals thus far, but we can't forget that they beat Cologne along the way, and they've beaten 2 sides from the 2nd division, and for a 4th league team, that's not an achievement to be sniffed at. They've done really, really well, and we saw from Daniel Batz there in the last video, of course, what a hero he's been. Tons of saves in normal time and in extra time in the last round against Karlsruhe, and then coming up with the all-important penalty stop to put them through. What a dream it would be if they can continue that run. And of course, they're the outsiders against Dusseldorf, but it's a winnable tie if you look at who else that they could have drawn. They'll certainly be fancying their chances of continuing a great cup run this season.
So Saarbrücken looking to continue making history. Moving on, last but not least, it's Leverkusen against Union Berlin. Tom, Leverkusen arguably with one of the more exciting front lines, the likes of Volland, Belrabi, Bailey, just to name a few. Just how much damage could they do to Union?
Yeah, certainly a lot, and they'll be hoping that they can do that too. They keep bringing through these great young players there at Leverkusen. That's got them to the quarterfinals this year. Again, Alario getting the goal against Stuttgart to get them through in the end this time around. But so many good players to look out for in a Leverkusen shirt this time. And an interesting story, of course, for their opponents too, Union Berlin. This game's got all the hallmarks of a great cup tie. Berlin punching above their weight this season, having a great campaign in the Bundesliga. They beat SC Verl, the real minnows, the outsiders last time round. It took a late goal from Andrich as well to get them through, but he did it in style, firing in at the near post to give Union Berlin a chance of reaching the final in their own city. Hertha are not there anymore, but Union's still going strong.
Well, Leverkusen definitely the favourites. This is the 5th encounter. Leverkusen have won all 4 of the previous matches between the two. And in that first encounter, 2 goals from Dimitar Berbatov. What a player he was.
Yeah, a real legend for Leverkusen, of course. One of their real greats going down the history books. But that run doesn't bode too well for Union Berlin with no wins in their 4 games against Leverkusen.
So that's all we've got to dive into with all 4 matches. Let's have one more look at the encounters. Saarbrücken taking on Düsseldorf and Schalke taking on Bayern on the 3rd. Leverkusen against Berlin, and then Frankfurt against Werder Bremen on the 4th. 4 very, very exciting encounters. We hope you enjoy them. We'll be here to talk about everything that is the DFB Pokal next time round.